Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from The Hill. Now this was published on February 7th. It's written by Tal Axelrod. And before we get into it, I just have to say, when you blatantly and just without any consideration for the consequences, throw it in the faces of Americans, in other states and against the federal government and U.S. law, when you do that, when you do something like that, when you throw something in the faces and don't expect of other people and don't expect consequences, you deserve what you get in the end. And this is what's happened here because of New York handing out driver's licenses to, as they would put it, undocumented, aka illegals. They've compromised the Trusted Traveler program. And because they've compromised it, these people have to go through the non-trusted traveler screening. And now they're upset about this because Americans are going to have to go through that. Well, if you adhered to U.S. federal law, then maybe you wouldn't be in that situation. Anyway, let's get into the article here. New York State will sue the Trump administration over a new rule that would block its residents from enrolling in global entry and other trusted traveler programs. Well, considering illegals could slip into that and have the ability to enter and leave the country without a problem, or get on a plane because, their ID slipped through the system. Yeah, I think we have an issue. New York Attorney General Letitia James, obviously a Democrat, who will file the upcoming lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security on Friday, accused the Trump administration of singling out the Empire State for allowing undocumented immigrants to obtain driver's licenses, even though other states had adopted similar laws. And yes, they're also going to be targeted too. You're the ones that are doing it because, California's bad about it. But New York, you're even worse on the note of throwing it in other people's faces. So, and you're also, look at the fact that you've been going after him like spurging idiots for, I don't know. Oh, that's right. Since before he became president, you started investigations into him, looking for any goddamn thing in the state of New York that you could to try to go after him. Don't you think that you might have an issue when you're doing stuff like that? You're throwing something in the American people's faces. You're on a witch hunt with the president. The chickens come home to roost. Your actions have consequences. And this was what happened. You caused this problem, but you want to blame Trump for it. No, it's all your own damn fault. And this idea of undocumented immigrants. To be an immigrant, you plan on staying here and you come here legally, okay? You get a green, a visa to come here beyond, say, if you're using a visa even, say, I'm on vacation and then never leave. I mean, you actually go through the process. You get a work visa. You then apply for a green card. And then if you want to just remain a resident, that's fine. But if you want to become an American, which, okay, if you're contributing, paying taxes, you're living your life, I got no problem with that. Your children are having a better life, I got no problem with that. But if you want to go even further and become American, you then do that. This idea of undocumented immigrant is complete bullshit. To immigrate, you have to do it legally. You mean illegal aliens, which when you put it in that scope, it shows the Orwellian newspeak that's going on here because of the undocumented immigrants. This is the Hill going, it's undocumented. Be honest about it. This is political retribution, plain and simple. And while the president may want to punish New York for standing up to his xenophobic policies, we will not back down, said James. We plan to take legal action and sue the Trump administration for its unfair targeting of New York State residents. You're breaking the law. He has legal grounds to do this. What you're doing compromises the trusted traveler programs. Because any Tom, Dick, or Harry, because in New York, I think You just need like bullshit identification in New York, like a foreign driver's license, which could be easily faked, stuff like that. And you can get in New York a New York driver's license. So now if someone wants to do, nefarious illegal things, New York is a weak point where they could get an ID issued if they're part of the Trusted Traveler program, have it slip through the cracks. And now you've got this element, this rogue element, this individual or individuals that do this, being able to travel freely through the country. That's something you don't want. This is about national security and safety. But see, oh no, New Yorkers are being targeted unfair because we're being like scumbag. We're being the virtuous ones, even though we're acting like scumbags, petulant children. Pushing this stuff and saying, well, you didn't do nothing. Come on now. This idea of xenophobic policies. So actually having, controlled borders, places where, certain people who like to do, acts of what, maybe saying you can't come from that area. I mean, we can't properly vet you. Those things are reasonable. Deal with it. This new policy will negatively impact travelers, workers, commerce, and our economy, so we will fight the president's short-sighted crusade against his former home, she added. We will not allow New York to be targeted and bullied by an authoritarian thug. Excuse me, you're the ones being authoritarian because you're like, well, you know what? We're going to tell you how it is. I'm sure that she had the head shake and shit going. I don't mean to be like pushing a stereotype, but I just got a feeling she was when she was talking like that. But you're basically saying, screw you, we're going to tell you how it is to the federal government. That's authoritarianism. Him trying to enforce the laws that the America's representatives in both houses voted on and became law and are currently law. Him trying to enforce those as being an authoritarian thug? Trying to ensure national security makes him an authoritarian thug? Come on now. Neither Governor Andrew Cuomo, who announced the lawsuit, nor James clarified precisely when the suit against the administration would be filed. Well, you know what? I can't wait because it'll, once it gets out, because this will have to be like, watch, you'll see a New York federal judge, probably an Obama or Clinton appointee, ruling on this, and they're going to rule in the favor of New York, and then it's going to get kicked out of New York, and then in the next level, it might end up to the Supreme Court, but before that point, most likely, there's going to be a judge going, no, he's trying to ensure that national security is upheld. Go piss yourself, and go whine in the corner like the infantile children you are. I mean, this is ridiculous. The announcement comes a day after Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf announced the administration's new policy. Wolf specifically cited in a letter to the state's Department of Motor Vehicles a New York law that forbids the state from supplying data to Immigration and Customs Enforcement and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Yes, exactly. This is why they're being targeted. Because they're giving licenses to these people that aren't here legally, but then they're not sharing the information about these people so that they can be, properly cleared from whether they're being allowed on these trusted, traveler programs, lists. Because if they don't have that information on whether they're legal residents or not, they cannot make sure that these people do not have access to the Trusted Traveler program. But yet, oh my God, the big bad government being evil, Trump, oh no, Orange Man bad. And it's New York's fault that this is happening. Wolf explained that his agency uses that data to obtain information about criminal networks and to ensure that individuals are low-risk status and eligible for TPPs with their criminal records. He also slammed the rule allowing undocumented residents to apply for a driver's license while protecting their information from federal immigration agencies as disappointing. Disappointing? How about it's fucking illegal? Jesus Christ. This type of shit really aggravates me. That the Hill can't even be honest in reporting this. Like, Because if they're taking disappointing out of quotes, I wouldn't doubt that they might have also said at the same time, Wolf here, that it's illegal. He probably did. They can't enroll or re-enroll in these trusted traveler programs that Customs and Border Protection offers because we no longer have access to make sure that they meet those program requirements, Wolf said on Fox News later Wednesday. So we need to do our job. Exactly. But New York doesn't care. They're willing to virtue signal. They're willing to sacrifice the security of the trusted traveler program and risk screwing all of their residents to go, look at how virtuous we are. Illegals can drive in our state. Give me a break. Or legally drive in their state. Under the new DHS policy, New Yorkers will not qualify for 4 specific programs run by CBP. Global Entry for International Travel, Nexus for travel between U.S. and Canada, Secure Electronic Network for travelers' rapid inspection for travel to and from Canada and Mexico only, and the Free and Secure Trade Program for truck drivers shipping commercial products across the U.S. border with Canada or Mexico. Okay, I guess you're a little bit screwed on maybe doing some trade across the border. If you want to keep that trade, comply with U.S. federal law in New York. Real simple. Wolf said Friday he had spoken to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and maintained that the new policy was unrelated to New York's law regarding driver's licenses. I made clear to the governor that if the state of New York restores access to mission-critical law enforcement information, the New Yorkers will once again be able to enroll in CBP trusted traveler programs, he said in a statement. I also made it clear to the governor that this action has nothing to do with driver's licenses and it has everything to do with breakdown and information sharing from the state of New York. But it really does have to do with the driver's licenses because they're giving the driver's licenses to illegals, which creates the situation that has New York going, well, we're going to keep all that information about them and who they are, and they're having driver's licenses and that. We're going to keep it from the federal government. So technically it does. Sorry to say that to you, Acting Secretary Chad Wolf. And here's his tweet with it, but anyway, we'll move on here. Cuomo claimed that the latest rule is another effort by President Trump to attack New York. Excuse me, when you're doing something illegal and they're telling you to comply with U.S. federal law, that's not attacking you. Holy shit. You virtue signaling victim freaking complex loving shitbags. Oh, me, we're under attack, me. You friggin' cry bullies. You literally sit there and attack other people while going, I'm the victim. I mean, you could be beating someone over the head with a baseball bat on the left, going, I'm the victim, while you're beating someone into unconsciousness and death. It's disgusting. The White House and state officials have been entangled in a number of feuds since Trump took office as New York pursues investigations into the president's business and finances. Yes, because they can't handle Trump won the election because their girl Hillary didn't. And they're trying to go, oh, well, this is just like singling us out. You've been singling out Trump since 2016. Come on now. So actually, you started going into this, probably, I think you started some of this, when you actually went, oh shit, he could win? So that might be end of 2015? But we'll say at least 2016 you started this stuff. Because you started it before he became president. You started looking into him. Get a clue. I mean, this is ridiculous. Time and time again, President Trump and his Washington enablers have gone out of their way to hurt New York and other blue states whenever they can as punishment for refusing to fall in line with their dangerous and divisive agenda, said Cuomo. Excuse me. You're the ones doing the dangerous and divisive agenda. I love how the left, they'll fucking project. All right, they could literally be robbing a fucking bank. And they're going to say, that guy over there's robbing a bank, and he's just standing there minding his own fucking business. They literally do this type of shit because what they're doing is dangerous and divisive. They are giving illegals driver's licenses. They are allowing illegals to travel freely within their state. have licenses that allow them to travel outside of their state. Because they get their license run, they're not going to have, it say whether they're an illegal or an illegal. It's just going to come back whether it's valid or not. They're making it easier for these people to travel within the United States and leave their state. And this is dangerous because it's compromising the security of this nation. You're giving them IDs so that they can not only travel freely, say by vehicle, but they can go, I don't know, maybe hop on a train, hop on a plane if these programs are there and, without like having access to the fact of whether they're legal or not. You have the fact that there's the fact that they might be getting registered for voting, because isn't New York like California is one of those states that when you sign up for your driver's license, you get registered to vote? I mean, there's a lot of shady shit going on here. Divisive agenda. Piss off. Cuomo, you're the one with the divisive agenda. The Department of Homeland Security's decision to ban New Yorkers from the Trusted Traveler program is yet another example of this administration's disrespect for the rule of law, hyper-partisan politics, and use of extortion, he said. Oh, that's so funny. So, no, banning you is because you are the one with the disrespect for the rule of law. Okay, there are laws that say, for the trusted program, this is like that real ID license stuff, all right? That's part of this. You have to have a real ID. And the thing is, who's to say that they're not handing out the real IDs? There's no, chain of custody with this. You are literally violating U.S. law, and you are giving documents to illegals for them to be able to get on planes and everything. You are not following U.S. federal immigration law and handing over the information you have on illegals that have these driver's licenses, which shows a disrespect for the rule of law and the law itself. And you're the one that's being the far left retarded shitbags going, well, we're going to virtue signal, making everything hyper partisan. And you want to say Trump is a New York Republican. That's like an Iowan fucking, Democrat kind of. Well, not really now, but, up until this spurgery. But yeah, I mean, this hyper-partisan shit is stuff you've created on the left. Anyway, DHS did not immediately respond to a request for comment for comment from the Hill. Now, I mean, you just look at this. This is so retarded. They're breaking the law. They're the ones that are compromising the security of, the Trusted Traveler programs. They're the ones that don't want to hand over information that they are legally required to the federal government. They are the ones that are acting like spurging retarded shitbags. But yet it's Trump, evil orange bad man, and his administration that's supposedly doing those things. It's sad that they think that this stuff is going to fly, that they're actually going to frame this a certain way where they look good. They created the situation that their residents in the state of New York have to now deal with on the note of not being able to take part in the Trusted Traveler program. Okay? All those truck drivers that ferry goods back and forth across the New York state Canadian border. Okay? Now they're not going to be able to do that nice and easily. Are those guys going to be mad at Trump? Or are they going to be mad at the legislators in New York? I mean, these are blue collar, working class people, men and women. I think they're going to be more mad at New York for screwing the pooch here and creating the situation than they are at Trump. And they don't realize this. They really don't realize this because, good example, California with their new private contractor bullshit law. They literally thought that was going to be a good thing for them with blue collar and stuff like that. The truck drivers all turned around and went, fuck you. They all went pooled their resources together with their organizations. I can't remember the name of one or two of them, but there was a couple organizations with the truck drivers. They pooled their resources, they got an attorney, and they sued and said, fuck you. I bet you the truck drivers in New York, once this really starts to affect them, are going to do the same exact thing. You're going to have more people do that too, because you're going to have the average person who travels for work that isn't like some woke, lefty from New York City or whatever. Get to the airport, find out that they have to go through the full screening type shit, and they'll be like, what the fuck? Do you think they're going to blame Trump for this? No, they're going to blame New York. They're going to be like, why the fuck are you giving these people fucking driver's licenses, you dumb shits? That's what's going to end up happening. This is going to probably blow up in their faces. And I really think it will. Because average people aren't these woke, virtue signaling dumb shits that are going to be like, oh yeah, evil man, Trump, evil. They're going to be like, you stupid fucks, you created the situation. Anyway. Yeah, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.